of our Reject shows. Give it up. This guy is funny. This guy is fruity. His name is Robert Berry.
Johnny Squires, everybody. How y'all doing? All right. It's his birthday. And I'd like to start out by doing a little improv. If you've ever seen improv before, I will take suggestions from the audience and build a hilarious situation around those suggestions there. So could I first get an occupation?
Stripper.
A stripper. That's a good suggestion. And how about a location for this stripper to be at?
Pacific Ocean.
Pacific Ocean? He's hogging all the suggestions. Alaska. Okay, stripper in Alaska. All right. Now tell me some funny things I can say. I'm not very good at improv. I need to take some classes there. I'm working on a TV series right now where I take really cute, adorable animals that are dead, and I try to figure out what killed them. It's called autopsy. Hope you check it out. I grew up, anybody here loves Star Wars a lot? I grew up loving Star Wars. Anybody else? Lots of folks here, right? Everybody's clapping to that. And I had everything. I had all the Star Wars action figures, and I had Star Wars bed sheets until I was 16 years old. And you have not known shame until you've wiped off on Chewbacca's face. I'll just admit that right now. It scarred me. I can't get aroused unless I go out with a hairy-faced woman now as a result from this. But I was so addicted to Star Wars that I got in trouble for stealing Star Wars cards from the grocery store. And my grandmother was so upset at me that she made me read the entire Bible from cover to cover as a punishment. And when I was through, she said, "So what did you learn?" And I said, "Well, you know, God's a lot like Darth Vader." "Well, how so?" She replies. And I said, "Well, he also killed millions of people, but it was all good by the end of the story because he had a really cool son." So the job market's really horrible out there right now. There's hundreds of people applying for the same job. And they have what's called panel interviews. You apply for a job with 3 or 4 other people for the same position at the same time. So it's like you're on this game show competing for this job. And I went to one of these a little bit ago, and it was a very humiliating experience because they ask you a question and they ask everybody else the same question. So they start out with, how long have you been using Microsoft Excel? And so I say 5 years. And then it goes down the line, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. Can I answer that question again? You know, that's not fair. And then the second question, it's that bullshit question they always ask you at interviews. What would you say your biggest weakness is? And nobody ever answers that question accurately. They never say, like, you know, I drink too much and I have trouble showing up to work on time. Or I can't go 10 minutes without checking Facebook. You know, I have trouble with authority figures. No, it's always some bullshit strength that's disguised as a weakness. And, you know, it goes down the line, you know, I have sometimes I just work too hard. I'd say that's my biggest weakness. You know, sometimes 6 o'clock comes around and I realize I should have left an hour ago because I never watched a clock. And the third person says, I'd say my biggest weakness is kryptonite. And this pisses me off, so I lose my composure and I say, well, my biggest weakness is redheads with cleavage freckles. So it comes time to the last question, and they say, well, here's a chance to sell yourself. Well, why are you the ideal candidate for this position? And the first guy says, well, you know, I'm always given 110%. The second person says, well, funny thing, I always give 120%. And the third person says, well, I'm giving 130%, and I'll blow you. And that's all he says. Doesn't say I'll blow you with my productivity or my mad PowerPoint skills. No, I'll just blow you. And the interviewer puts like a happy face by the guy's name. So I'm so put out at this point, you know, I say, look, I'll give 140% and I'll blow you 150%. Now, I know that doesn't seem humanly possible, but I have a Siamese mouth in the back of my throat that will resuck the top of your dick again. Needless to say, I start my new job at Gymboree next Monday. So if anyone needs a discount on toddler overalls, just hit me up. I really like a lot of the music from the 90s. Any Backstreet Boys fans here? Woo! Yeah, fuck yeah, right? They've got this song that goes, you are my fire, my one desire, believe when I say, everyone, I want it that way. Yeah. And they say this like 85 times in the song, I want it that way, but they never at one point tell you what way that way is. I mean, back in their heyday, they had girls lined up around the arena 4 times over, ready to give it to them any way they want, and once they got there, they were confused because they didn't know what to do. They even confused the matter more in the song by saying, I never want to hear you say, I want it that way. Your sexual instructions are just too confusing for me. The songs of that time were all that way. Like Meatloaf had a song that said, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. What is it that Meatloaf won't do? I mean, he weighed like 400 pounds and sweats gravy. It's hard to believe there's a line he would not cross for love. I mean, I would do anything for love, but I would not do sit-ups. Or I would do anything for love, but I would not eat sensibly. Or wear a shirt that fits me properly. But the songs of today are just as bad. Like there's this one, Carly Rae Jepsen. She's got a song that says, hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. I know this sounds crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. And that's not really that crazy if you think about it. I mean, if you see someone you like at a bar, giving them your phone number is a perfectly sane and not crazy thing to do. I mean, if that song was crazy, it might be more like, hey, I just met you, this is crazy. You know, I've been going through your trash, and you threw away a perfectly good box of fish sticks, but despite your wasteful attitude, I think we might have something. Or I just met you, this is crazy, I prefer the Star Wars prequels to the original trilogy. I just met you, this is crazy. You know, Hitler had a lot of really good ideas. He was largely misunderstood. I just met you, this is crazy. You know, I believe in love at first sight. Why don't we take a long walk on the beach? We'll come back to my place. I'll put on some Kenny G music, maybe turn on the fireplace. And then we'll watch The Complete Little House on the Prairie on Blu-ray while a toothless raccoon licks my balls. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit too crazy. I guess she had it right, that Carly Rae Jepsen, that's for sure. So, we were talking about Ben Affleck a little earlier. The new Batman. A lot of people very upset about this. And they hit the news all at once. And just every media outlet at once said, Ben Affleck is the new Batman. And the internet collectively said, what the fuck? And I think, you know, we're falling for a trick because I think this is just an elaborate ruse for Ben Affleck to free more hostages. That's a callback. Anyway, well, I'm going to leave you with this here tonight. You guys having a good night tonight here, by the way? One of my elementary school friends is here, Beverly. Are you here, Beverly?
I'm here.
And I just want to, you know, back when we were in 4th grade, we were going back to class and we were in line. And when you liked somebody back then, you asked if they would go with you. And but you never asked them directly. You always went through an intermediary. You know, hey, go ask so-and-so if they would go with me. And so this friend of mine, David, said, hey, go ask Beverly if she will go with you. And the word, you know, went down the line. And then it came back. And it was like, no, she will not go with you, but she'll go with Robert. And so I said, okay. And then people started teasing me on the way back to the class. And before we got back to the class, I said, hey, tell her it's off. And I just want to apologize, basically. You know, could have had something there, perhaps. But I'll leave you with this. I got kicked out of a hospital today. I was tickling kids in a burn clinic. Yeah. Turns out laughter is not the best medicine in all cases. I just want to make that clear. Let's give it up for your host here, Johnny Squires. It's his birthday today, you know. My name's Robert Berry. Thank you very much.
All right, give it up for Robert Berry.